He fucking killed it, okay? Now, this guy is a nurse, okay? So, he saves people's lives, he does his hard work, he deals a lot with the older folks. So, let me tell you something. If you get a tightness in your chest from laughing so damn hard at this motherfucker, guess what? He'll save your life and help you out. Alright? So, I want to welcome to the stage Mr. Josh Felix from Tavares, Florida. Put your hands together! Mr. Josh Felix!
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Good. Let's give it up for all the other comedians. They did a wonderful job, didn't they? Now, I was coming in tonight, and behind the trash can, I heard this caterwauling, awful noise, hissing, spitting. There was fur flying. I thought for sure there were two raccoons out there fighting for something. Went behind the trash can, and ended up being two crackheads fighting over a chicken wing. So if y'all don't mind anything left on your plates, just leave it there. They'll get it when you're done. I got to admit, I'm a little nervous tonight. This is the first time I've ever headlined a show. Because I'm nervous, I brought a holy man, a psychologist, and a couple nurses. Now, I'm a registered, show of hands, how many are pretty sure the next words out of my mouth are going to be sex offender? Yeah, there are always a couple assholes in the back, huh? No, I'm a nurse, and just so y'all know, in case of an emergency, for all of you that clapped when I came up and they said I was a nurse, you will get first priority. The rest of you get CPR like this. Nursing's one of those jobs, it can be hard at times. Other times, it's just as easy as handing out water and telling people to take more laxatives. Sometimes the doctor tells me to give out the laxatives, and sometimes I do it for my own personal enjoyment. Seriously speaking though, nurses are the only people, other than your own mother of course, that can be genuinely concerned about how you're feeling, and at the same time want to choke you until you shit yourself. Obviously we can't choke our patients, can we? Can we? Nobody ever says no. Never. No, we can't choke our patients, but we can do other little passive-aggressive things. We like to hand out nicknames. The doctors, they have it really bad. We give them nicknames like Dr. Death, Dr. Demento. We had one doctor come in, we nicknamed him Banana Hands. He had these big old gorilla sausage-looking ass fingers. We used to tease him all the time. It was a good thing he wasn't a gynecologist. He could have ruined it for everybody. The patients, they usually have it a little easier though. They get nicknames that have to do with why they're there. Like my new friend Bunyan's down in room 10. One-eyed Pete's in room 5. We had one guy come in, we nicknamed him the human junk drawer because he lost a screwdriver up his ass. That's a true story, I'm going to tell you all about it right now. Before I start this joke, though, I want to preface it by letting you know that 99% of the time, it's a middle-aged married white guy that most decidedly does not want us to call his wife in case of an emergency. I was working in the emergency room and this guy comes in looking all shady. He comes up to the desk and he leans down and he says, "Hey, I got something stuck." I'm like, "Alright, well we take stuff out of ears, noses. I removed something from a fat guy's beard last week. It happens." He's like, "No, I accidentally slipped and I accidentally fell and now there's accidentally a screwdriver in my bumhole." Well, first of all, that was a hell of a lot of accidents all at once. So I take him to the back to an exam table, but I make him do the walk of shame the whole way back because at this point he can no longer sit down. I tell him, "Take off all of your clothes, put on a gown, and I'll be back in 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes I went back and checked because for some reason when a nurse tells you to take off all of your clothes and put on your gown, you all think that it means take off some of your clothes and put on your gown. And this guy was no different. I went back and the only other article of clothing he was wearing other than his gown was a protective cup. Now, I'm not really sure why he was wearing a protective cup at that point, but if you ask me, he was protecting the wrong damn end. I call the x-ray department, have the technician come up and get him, and I let her know why he's there, what films we need to see. And he looks right at me and says, "Hey, you didn't tell her that that was an accident." Okay, it was an accident. She takes him downstairs, and at that point we had to assemble the greatest team of anal object removers ever assembled in the history of the world. We even called in the maintenance man because it was a screwdriver. We were like Avengers, but for your butthole. So the removal happens. The guy's uncomfortable, he's a lot embarrassed, but it happens. And I go in to do my pre-discharge teaching, and I let him know that we had to call his insurance and charge them for foreign object in the anus removable first encounter. But just to let you know, there's diagnosis codes for foreign object in the anus removal subsequent encounters, so people don't usually stop the first time. He had the nerve to look me right in the eye and say, "Hey, did you tell my insurance company it was an accident?" I mean, I just spent the last 3 hours with the guy. I helped remove something from his ass, and he's gonna lie to me. He had a little cross pendant on, and I thought, I'm gonna show this guy. I said, "We should probably say a prayer to the good Lord. He saw fit for you to have a slip and fall accident. However, he was merciful enough to make sure there was KY jelly all over the screwdriver before he did." So I said, "Please, sir, bow your head. Let's say a prayer. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of my garage, I will fear no screwdrivers. For the floor, it was slippery. Thy speculum and KY, they comfort me. Amen." A lot of people don't know, but one of my jobs as a nurse is when you come in and get a diagnosis, I have to look it up in this big, thick book with all these numbers in it, and that's how we bill your insurance company. We also use those numbers for statistical purposes. We can literally keep track of anything. K62.89 is the code for a pain in the ass. Now, at first I was charging all my patients for that, but apparently the pain in the ass has to be theirs and not mine. They were throwing around big words like Medicare fraud. I don't even know what that means. H54.10 is the billing code for being blind in one eye and can't see out of the other. I can literally bill you for that. And for all you hopeless romantics out there, I-59 is the billing code for a broken heart. Actually, it's the billing code for heart failure unspecified. It's just the best I could do at the time I had. We have codes for alcohol use with intoxication. We have codes for alcohol-induced sexual dysfunction. If none of you are familiar with what that means, I'll give you a little tip. We even have codes for something called alcohol-induced mood disorder, which I disagree with completely as a diagnosis. The alcohol does not cause my mood disorder, it alleviates it. The mood disorder is caused by my wife and kids. Also, my wife's here tonight, so if anybody can give me a ride home, I probably need one now. I found a code in that big old book for something called chlamydial pneumonia. I'll let that sit with you for a minute. That's an STD infection in your lungs. I gotta say, I'm shocked and appalled. I don't know what the hell you freaks are doing, but I'm also curious too, so if you know anything about it, get with me after my set. I found a code in there for something called hungry bone disease. I was excited at first. I thought I'd be looking that one up on Pornhub. As it turns out, the actual disease is nowhere near as sexy as it sounds. We have codes for something called megacolon. I didn't look that up on Pornhub. I was pretty sure where that was going to go. Inflammatory polyps of the anus without complications. And for all you anal fans out there, that just means that the highway's open, but there's going to be some speed bumps along the way. I was doing a show recently up in the Villages, and this mature lady came up to me afterwards on my way to the car. And when I say mature, like she went past MILF or you know, silver fox. She was more like a saber-tooth era. And she said to me, I'm almost due for my mammogram, can you help me out? I'm not real slick. The first words out of my mouth were, well, I'll have to call your insurance company to see if that's a billable service. It didn't faze this lady one bit at all. Next words out of her mouth was, I'm due for a pap smear too. That scared the hell out of me, y'all. I got in my car and ran away. But I gotta tell you, to this day, I can't help but wonder, was she really hitting on me or was she just looking for affordable health care? I had a real bad patient come in one time, and when I say bad patient, I mean annoying as hell. In and out of bed, on the bell, asking a million dumb questions. But at first they were normal questions like, when's the doctor gonna see me? But they got stupider over time. Where does the white go when the snow melts? Are you ever gonna stop my bleeding? You know, stupid shit like that. Finally I looked at this guy and I thought, he's asked me his last dumb question. He says, why is there a hole through the gown and through the bucket in my gown? I looked him right in the eye and I said, sir, that's so when the surgeon comes in the morning to harvest all your organs, we know where to take your heart from first. He didn't think it was very funny either. The lady that was with him had an absolute fit. She was saying things like, what's wrong with you? You're a monster. He's only 8 years old. That was at the big hospital downtown. I'm not allowed there anymore for other reasons. Apparently it's not okay to shave with the surgical laser machine. I mean, I feel bad for the dude that needed that kidney or whatever that day, but in my defense, I haven't had to shave my balls in 3 months. A lot of nurses describe their patients as children, and a lot of them treat them that way. In a lot of ways, they are. It never fails. After lights out, somebody wants a peanut butter sandwich. Somebody has to go to the bathroom, and next somebody didn't know there was any jelly for the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. At some point in time, you're gonna shit on me. That's all part of life as a nurse. And last but not least, there is a 100% chance that I am gonna see your naked ass as you try to do that chilly willy walk of shame to the bathroom. You guys think you're hiding it, but we see it all. You might as well not even try. Yeah. Because I work with mostly women, I have an honorary title. I'm the HNI CMI, the head nurse in charge of masturbatory incidents. Apparently, just being a guy makes me uniquely qualified to deal with chronic masturbation. If my patients are being assholes, if they're pissing me off, I'll go up to a room that I've never seen before, the patient's never seen me, and I'll pick up the chart and I'll say something like, what in Satan's hairy ass crack is that? And I'll put the chart down and I'll walk away and they'll never see me again. I get texts on my day off, what the hell did you do to my patient? Sometimes I'll go in and tell them they got some kind of weird made-up disease. Tell them they got African barking scabies, Mongolian creeping herpes. If they're really pissing me off, I'll tell them they got herpagona hepatosyphilades, and I'll let them wonder what the hell that is for the rest of the night. Sometimes I like to put my dementia patients in an elevator and take them up for a ride. It makes them happy. You know, it makes them happy for 5 minutes, makes me happy. I tell them there's a birthday party waiting up on the 7th floor. By the time we get there, they forgot why we were going. They don't always forget though. Sometimes they're like, okay, where the hell's the birthday party? Oops, it's on the 1st floor. Let's go for another ride. But here's my contingency plan. I hit the fire emergency button, so when we get down on the 1st floor, there's 12 angry firemen waiting for us. Instant birthday party. Because you know what? No matter how big and bad and tough you are, no matter how pissed off you are, when a 90-year-old dementia patient tugs you on the arm and says, are you here for my birthday party? You say, yeah, Grandma, the fuck I am. Nursing is one of those things you can't turn off. I like to play a little game when I'm out in public called, what's that person gonna die from? One day I was like, you know, there's diabetes and heart disease and depression. And my wife says, why are you talking to yourself in the mirror again? We had this one old lady that had a glass eye, and she used to think it was funny to take it out and put it on the desk and tell her she was keeping an eye on shit. She developed dementia, and she started misplacing her eye. One day, she put it in her purse. And lost it. 6 hours we searched the whole floor for her glass eye. It ended up being in her colostomy bag. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I guess what? I was the new guy. I'm the one that had to fucking fish it out. I can't ever... The only thing I could think at the time was when this lady says she's going to keep an eye on shit, she fucking means it. I was reading a nursing article the other day. I was talking about how chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis all have non-treatable strains now. That means they're antibiotic resistant, so if you get them, there's no treatment. That's not a joke. I just figured this was the sort of crowd that needed that information. I'm not always the nurse. Sometimes I have to be the patient too. I understand how awkward it can be. I was at my doctor's the other day and he said it was time to start checking my prostate. Now, the awkward part was he was rubbing my shoulders as he whispered it in my ear. And I'll tell you all something too, that'll be the last damn time I go see a doctor that everybody calls banana hands. Speaking of getting older, I've noticed that things have changed. In grade school, middle school, and high school, we all got pulled into a class and were told about how our bodies are changing. Why the hell don't we do that for adults? Like when you hit 32, things start changing. 35, all bets are off. I've noticed things in the bathroom have changed quite a bit. That's right, hold on to your pants everybody, this is a shit bit. Since I've turned 35, I'm 39 now, I've noticed sometimes it's a immovable object, sometimes it's an unstoppable force. You just never know what's going to happen that day. It now takes me longer to poop than I have shit to look at on my phone. By the end, I'm bored sitting there like the thinker, like, what the hell's taking so long? I don't even fucking know. Sometimes you'll grunt it out for 2 hours straight on the damn bathroom, sweating like a damn wildebeest. Nothing. Nothing in the toilet, nothing on the paper. It's a mystery of modern science, and I'm not going to be the one that asks Bill Nye about it. You ever leave a turd so long it's stuck up out of the water? That's what we call a shit cobra. If it sticks up past the rim, it's called a crab giraffe. Sometimes I'm in the bathroom so long, my legs fall asleep, I gotta stand there for 20 minutes before the feeling comes back.
I'm like, what?
And am I the only one here that takes selfies with their shit? Like send them to your family members? I mean, it wouldn't be a normal Christmas if my grandma didn't refer to me as that weird little bastard. I'm old enough now that I can remember a time called back in the day. Anybody remember that? It was a real shithole compared to nowadays. We had to actually work for our porn. Y'all believe that shit? We had to steal it. Like, we had to case the usual joints, dads, grandpas, uncles, all their shit, going through it like fucking criminals. We saved it, we traded it. Just like drug dealers, you had to leave it in little stashes around the house. Never use the same price twice, name the same place twice. How about junk food? My generation survived the first wave of nasty junk food. We survived Jiffy Pop, early Fun Dip, and Kool-Aid, with all the fun dyes that caused ADHD. How about spray cheese in a can? Does anybody remember that shit? That stuff would glow in the fucking dark. I'll tell you what, I think there's a correlation between spray cheese and Trump's orange color and tiny hands. It's like a spray cheese conspiracy going on right in front of us. We don't even know about it yet. We used to believe shit. Anybody could tell you something back then, you had to believe it. If you ate 30 minutes before you went swimming, you're going to get cramps and drown. If you didn't respond to the chain letters, your family was going to find your heart in a box on your porch in 3 weeks. We used to believe that if you turned the dome light on when you were driving, you'd get pulled over and arrested. Do you know why we believed that? Because we're all lazy. We could have went to the library at any time and disproved any of those theories. But until Google came around, nobody had the gumption. Water beds used to be as plentiful as mullets, and they were usually found in close proximity. I'll never forget one time I had a water bed. I'll never forget when it sprung a leak. My whole family was there. The whole place was flooded. My grandfather picks up the side of the mattress, and there's my porn collection. I actually have this documented. My mom thought that it was a good idea to take pictures and put those in my family album. That's a true story.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I survived Vanilla Ice, MC Hammer, and MC Hammer pants.
That's right.
That's right, I had a pair of MC Hammer pants, and nobody touched this either. Back when I was a kid, somebody thought it was a good idea to take a big motor and strap 3 wheels, a seat, and a handlebar to it. Then they told us our hair was good enough for a helmet, and said, hey, do the biggest jump you can off that dirt mound over there. Show of hands, how many people have kids? Most everybody, good. Good. Kids are great, aren't they? I mean, as soon as they're born, you can't help but fall in love with them. You have to teach them everything. Teach them how to eat, how to talk, how to shit, everything. And one day they start developing their own opinions, and you wonder why the hell you didn't leave them at the fire station when you had a chance. The kids can make it awkward too. Like, they can make any situation awkward. I will never forget, my oldest son was about 2 years old, and I was stepping out of the shower, and he busts in the door out of nowhere, and he says, Daddy, I like your penis. Like, that wasn't awkward enough, and all I could hear in the background was my wife on the bed rolling around laughing. Like, she's a big help. You know, and I thought at the time, well, boy, it can't get any much worse than this. Then he says, oh, I hope I get a big old PV like yours when I get bigger. Like, how do you even respond to that? I felt like Law and Order was going to bust in through the damn window. Ice-T was going to be like, you're a straight-up pervert. I'm married for 12 years now, been together for 16. Thank you. I gotta tell you, the other day, I was talking to my wife, and I told her that I thought things were getting a little stale in the bedroom area, you know? Maybe we spice things up, make it a little more exciting. 2 days later, I went to jump in bed, and there was a pair of open scissors right at testicle height. I don't think she understood what I was talking about. I'm going to let y'all know that my set tonight has been brought to you by Michelob Beer. That's the official beer of white people everywhere. Because it's not too dark and bland as hell.
You're still fun.
Alright guys, I got one more joke before I go, but I'm going to let y'all have it. The other night I was at home helping my wife out, doing the laundry. I was folding the whites, and I said to her, these whites are getting a little dingy. Do you not use Clorox? Yeah? Oh no, that's right.
Oh no.
I said, you know, I'm just a peon around here, but I gotta wonder. And she said, well, congratulations, you just got yourself a promotion. You're no longer a peon. Now you're the head asshole in charge of whites.
That's right.
So, well, that's Trump's job. I can't be doing that. All right, guys, that's my time. I want to thank you very much. It's been a wonderful crowd.
You know what? These comedians have traveled